Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Priyanshi this side. And since this is the Valentine week, I decided I want to read romance. So after going through YouTube for recommendations, searching on Google, and then scrolling through Amazon, and finally asking ChatGPT for recommendation, I landed on these two books: The Bride by Ali Hazelwood and White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Now, as per GPT, these two are completely opposite of each other. So while Bride is a fantasy romance between a vampire and a werewolf, White Knight is melancholic love story, very introspective, emotional, and heavy on inner thoughts rather than plot action. So join me in this reading vlog and let's find out together what these two books have in store for me. Let's start. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I ended up reading 10 in one sitting. Here's a quick update. Our names and what all they do and why mystery. So I started reading Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and I picked it up for the obvious reason. This is a love story between a vampire and a werewolf, and I haven't really read one. So these are too many firsts for me. Like my first enemies to lover, then the first vampire and werewolf love story. The reason is simple because I've been away from fiction from a very long time. Like I'm way behind, and I have to catch up. So yeah, it is very fun. So this arrived on 11th, and on the same day I thought that, you know what, I'm going to read just one chapter. And then what happened, I ended up reading 10 in one sitting. Yes. So but I didn't get any time yesterday or today to read it. It is currently 11:30 p.m. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I can't give any assurance that I'll do so or not. So please forgive me and please watch this at your own risk. This is basically a story between a vampire and a werewolf. First of all, there are too many characters in this book, and I had to keep up somehow. So what I did, the only logical thing that I could do, I started writing down their names and what all they do and what are their positions and everything. And it might not have been much visible to you, and the handwriting is also very poor. So sorry for that. And also, I've been taking notes because I probably forget what sometimes the parts that I want to talk about, and then I realize later on that, oh, I missed this and I don't want to do that this time. So I'll give you a backstory. So vampires and humans, they have a kind of a, what do we call it, they have a kind of a settlement where, or a peace kind, the thing that how they maintain peace between each other is that they have something called collateral. So the vampires send one of their own, a child of 8 years of age, to live among the humans, and the humans do the same. And if any one of them tries to sabotage this peace, they will probably end up killing that child. Pretty messed up, I know, but it is how the story is. So our female lead, whose name is Misery. Yes, I was taken aback for 1 second. Like, why Misery? Who would name someone Misery, right? But then it turns out that because her mother had died when she was born, so they named her Misery. Again, pretty messed up. But this girl Misery, this vampire girl Misery. So her own father chose her to be sent and live among the humans, and there, of course, she didn't like it there. So when she turned 18, so they lived there for 10 years, the collaterals, and then they returned back when she turned 18, and she came back to her own people. She didn't feel respected or loved, and they didn't care about what she has done. Like, she has literally helped them keep peace for 10 years, but no one cares for that. So she decides that, you know what, she'll assume a fake identity and she'll go and live among the humans. She has only one person in the entire world, probably, that she actually loves and cares about, which is her friend Serena. Now, when she was a child and she was sent among the humans, uh, she didn't behave properly, because how could she? She was sent to live among humans, being a vampire. So that she didn't, like, she did reckless things. So to calm her down, what they did is that the humans thought that if they bring in another child which is the same age as her, maybe it will help her to calm down a bit. So brought in Serena, and they eventually became very close friends. But now Serena is missing, and when she goes to her room to, get some hint at where she has disappeared, all of a sudden she comes across a piece of paper on which it is written L.E. Moreland. Now, she is very good at tech and she tries everything to find about this person but could not find anything. Then, I think a month later, while she is at her office, her father's right hand turns up and tells her that, your father has summoned you. So she gets curious, and also because this right hand has revealed her identity as a vampire to her colleague, now she can no longer work there. So she goes to her father's, and there he tells her that there has been a re-election of the governor. Now the new governor doesn't want to keep up the arrangement that they have, and they want to end the collateral, which is eventually not good for vampires because there are werewolves and then there are humans, and the humans are too much in number that they can overpower both vampires and werewolves. And now there is news that this governor is going to form a pact or a settlement with the werewolves, which is again not good for vampires. But then it turns out that the new alpha of the werewolf pack is apparently someone who loves peace and would not like to shed another drop of blood. And then they had some conversations, her father and that alpha, and she gets to know that he's thinking of marrying his daughter, Misery, to this vampire. Sacrifice again. So even obviously she doesn't says yes, and she when she's about to leave the room, her father like tells her the name, like he is convincing her, and then that the name comes out, which is Lo Morland, which is equivalent to L.E. Morland. She immediately agrees because she thinks that maybe this alpha has something to do with disappearance. So now they're married, and in the first 10 chapters, there is not much conversation that has happened among them. There have been two instances in which they have met. So the first one is when it is probably her first day in the house, and this other wolf tries to unalive her. I think that is how we say it on YouTube. I saw some videos. So, but she defends herself, and when she has overpowered him, is when Lo turns up and other wolves turn up, and they think that she's trying to kill him. But eventually, it turns out that Lo trusts her. She is not allowed to go outside because it is a werewolf territory and she'll get harmed. So she has to stay in her room. So she sleeps during the day and then wakes up at the night because she's a vampire. There are many myths broken about vampires and werewolves, which maybe I'll talk about later in the video. Then the next meeting they have is when she wakes up and she hears some noises, and when she looks outside her room's window, her room is situated on the second floor, and she sees that there is some kind of a gathering going on. Then her eyes catch the same werewolf that tried to kill her, and she sees him kidnapping Anna. Now Anna is Lo's younger sister. She's just 6 years old. She's very cute. She pretends that she's 7 but she's 6. And through some conversations, and because Anna always keeps turning up into Misery's room because it was her room earlier, so she has developed affection for her and warmth for her, and she cares for her. And when she sees that this wolf is trying to kidnap Anna, she just runs hysterically and just goes to protect her. Eventually it turns out that it was a wolf plan to find out what this other wolf was like up to. Now this act of hers gains her some respect and trust, a little, but some, like among the wolves, and especially one wolf which is very like, from the moment Misery has entered this house, she does not like her, and she doesn't do anything to hide that. She's very open about it, but eventually she also develops a kind of a respect for her, and she is grateful that she is also someone that cares about Anna, because they all care about Anna. In the 10th chapter, we're finally seeing some conversation happening between Misery and Lo, and we get some insight into Anna. I should not reveal that. Yeah, I will not reveal that. Okay, so yeah, that is what the story has been up till now. The only thing that I find missing is I wanted Lo's perspective as well. Although there are like at the start of every chapter, there are 3 or 4 small lines. Like here at chapter 6, it is being gone as a relief and sheer agony. So like we get into his head for these few lines, but I would have loved more from him. I have completed 10 chapters, and no, I have no hope of getting that. So I think I'll have to do with Misery's perspective alone. Let's see what it has in store for me and how it ends. I hope it has a happy ending. I really hope. And I feel that it will have a happy ending. But let's just see. So I'll come back to you when I've read some more and I have something more to talk about. So yeah. Okay, so here's a little update. I have read till chapter 21 yesterday, and finally Lo and Misery have developed a kind of a bond. They have developed feelings and they have admitted to those feelings. However, Misery thinks that the collateral, werewolf collateral that has went to her side, like with the vampires, is his mate. But I think that she could be Lo's mate because I don't know. He's giving her every signs, and I think at chapter 15 or somewhere, when she's asking about his mate or something, so he says that what I really need is for her to be happy, whether it's with me or alone or with someone else. And I don't know. Whatever things he's saying, it is hinting that she's his mate. Though I could be wrong. I'm making my assumptions here, and I don't know how this werewolf and vampire thing goes. But yes, that is what I think, and I'm really hoping that she's his mate because they both have like feelings for each other, and that should be the whole point. But we'll see what will happen. And some incidents have happened here and there. For example, they went to the former alpha's mate. She has invited. It is kind of a custom among werewolves that when the new alpha takes over, so their other alpha's mate, they invite to show that they have accepted them. So the Emery is the name of the other wolf, and she has invited him to their place. They have went there with a plan, and their plan also gets successful. In the meanwhile, a lot of things happen. Anna falls ill. Then someone puts poison in the peanut butter, and only two people eat that. One is Anna and one is Misery. I'll finish this, so I'll come back with the final thoughts and let you know all about it. Okay, so I have finished the book and I really liked it. The end was something like I enjoyed the last 10 chapters more than I enjoyed the entire book. And the end was something that it, you can say, it blew my mind because I could never thought that it would end this way, or like things could go this way. And it was absolutely, I mean, fun. I laughed, I smiled. It was everything. The end was like, the end is the icing on the cake. So I really, really loved it. And yes, I told you that Lo's mate is Misery, and turns out that I was correct. Although Lo first denied it when Misery confronted him, but then eventually a situation arose in which he agreed that yeah, she is his mate actually, and that was really sweet because all through the book there were hints that Lo's mate is Misery, but there was also some confusion regarding it. But it got cleared in the end. This book is definitely worth checking out, and it also led me to my next read, which I'm going to read in March, hopefully. This was the first book that I read of Ali Hazelwood, and it got me intrigued. I am now interested in reading more of the books. So yes, I'll definitely check it out. Then, as I said I will be reading White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. So I did that. I still have to understand the nuances and everything because read it in the first go, and I don't think that it is enough to understand the intricacies in this book. So I'll go through it. But while this was, you can say, fun, chaotic, everything, this was heartbreaking because the end, I was like, what? So this is basically, I'll just give the gist of it. So there is a man who calls himself a dreamer. He lives alone, and then one night he meets a woman named Nastenka, and they develop a bond, and he falls in love with her, but she's in love with someone else, and she's waiting for him. And then eventually she is heartbroken, and she thinks that okay, this man is never going to come back to her, and she accepts our dreamer. But eventually that man comes back, and she goes to him, and he's left alone. It made me go through so many emotions. Like I was like, what is happening? So yes, I will not refrain from saying much because, as I said, I still have to understand the nuances of it. And this was the first book that I read by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and I heard that Russian literature is very good, and this is the first one that I got my hands on, and now I want to read more. So yes, these were the books I read during the Valentine week, and they were completely opposite of each other, but I enjoyed them. I loved them. They made me go through emotions, and I totally enjoyed it. Let me know what you want me to read next. Any romance recommendations? I'd definitely love to take it up. And check out Ishi's last video. She has like rated the books that have been hyped on Bookstagram and everything. And her book, I just love her videos, and you should definitely check it out. You'll love it as well. She has rated the book, she has given her thoughts on these books. So, yeah, do check it out. And thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.